Hello, this is Commissioner Barbara Zinner. We are having the December 7th Joint Health and Human Services and Government Oversight Committee meetings. We will now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for adoption of the agenda?
Romano adopts the agenda.
Support Van Sickle.
Any discussion? Commissioner Romano made the motion. Commissioner Van Sickle supported. We'll take a vote, please.
Motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. We will now get a motion for approval of the minutes.
So moved, Turner.
Support Nard.
Is there any discussion? I believe the motion was made by Commissioner Van Sickle and the support was from Commissioner Perna. Can we? A Joint Health and Human Services and Records and Public Safety Committees minutes dated November 8th, 2023. Thank you. We'll take the vote, please. Thank you.
Motion passes 11-0.
We are not going to the first public participation. Anyone in the public can speak for 3 minutes on any agenda item. We will have another public participation at the end of the meeting where you can speak on anything. Would anyone like to speak? Would anyone like to speak? Okay, we will close that, please. Thank you. Then we will go to Health and Human Services Committee. We will go to United Way, the United Way presentation with Laura Rios.
I'll make a motion and recommend this to full board.
Support.
Thank you. Commissioner Romano made the motion and Commissioner Nard supported. Laura.
Yes, hi. This is a grant that I was invited, and it was an invitation-only grant to apply for with United Way, and they only gave out a few grants to a few veteran organizations. It's for $10,000, and I wrote the grant to be able to use it for emergent need request, since our veterans are coming more and more for more emergent need. I wrote it to where none of our other grants can pay for hotel vouchers. So I wrote it to also include hotel vouchers, also include shut-offs, car repairs, home repairs, and other things. So it's encompassing a lot. I do expect it will be probably used in 1 month or 2.
Yes.
It won't take long.
No.
Our committee just approved just 2 days ago, like $10,000. So, I mean, it's amazing. When someone has a need, it's a big need. So, any questions?
No, thank you, Director. Yes. Is there a question? Is there a statement? No. All right, we will, I see nothing, so we will go to a vote, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion passes 11-0.
We will now go to a budget amendment, Office of Senior Services. Andrew's going to take that for us today, please, for a foundation grant.
I'll make a motion and recommend this to full board.
Support.
Thank you. Commissioner Romano made the motion. Commissioner Ha supported. Andrew.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Sheila Cote cannot join us today, so you're stuck with me, unfortunately, in her place. So she sends her regards that she wishes she could be here, but she had to attend another meeting. But before you is a motion to approve a budget amendment in the amount of $5,000, which was a grant fund from Four County Community Foundation. This is going directly to the Healthy Senior Healthy Program, Handy Helpers. So this funding is specifically going to go to seniors that are on a wait list to receive safety equipment at home, mainly grab bars in the bathroom area. You know, we're really concerned about seniors slipping. It's a common fall area due to showering activities in the bathroom. So this will go a long way to providing our seniors this much needed safety equipment. Be happy to answer any questions I can answer.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown?
Yeah, thank you. Four County Foundation, we don't do much with them. North End Foundation up by me. The equipment that they're using, those specifically grab bars, or is there any other stuff that they're buying with that money?
So there's flexibility in any kind of safety equipment directly, but a lot of the needs and the requests are those grab bars, stability items that are in the shower, Commissioner.
How do they install them?
So they find, you know, in the bathroom, they find a secure way to tie them into the studs
I
typically.
mean, are we involved in installation as well? I mean, we're buying the equipment, but the seniors don't have any way to put them in, so who's installing the equipment?
We do, we partner basically with other, in the program, there are contractors that will go out on our behalf and install those for the seniors as
Well,
well.
there's a list of contractors that we've got for that.
Correct, that we've worked with in the past and vetted.
So the department applied for this, to that grant for the $5,000?
Yeah, it's one of the added positions within Office of Senior Services, a grant manager that specifically looks at funding sources. Sue Coates, and Sue was able to attain this funding and went after it. So it's great to kind of see some of that resources being used and coming
Awesome.
back.
That's real good to know that a grant writer that we hired, well, we funded, is making the difference.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you. Commissioner Van Sickle?
Afternoon, Andrew.
Good afternoon.
Is Four County organization just a name, or is it actually 4 counties here in Michigan?
Commissioner, I don't have a whole lot of information on the organization. I believe it was
I
an
can answer
endowment
that.
fund. I can
Okay.
get more information. It sounds like Commissioner
Yeah.
Brown is also familiar with them, probably more than I am. But we can absolutely get more information on that organization.
Just
for you.
curious. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes.
Four County is the name of the foundation, and it is the Four County, it serves the Four County region up there. They've been around for as long as I've been around.
Macomb and 3 other counties?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
I've actually written for a grant with the Lions Club back in the day, and I got a small grant for the Lions Club to build a bathroom, applying to them at one time, when I had more time. Thank you.
All right, good. We'll take a vote, please.
Motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Andrew, while you're still there, we have a budget amendment for the Health General Fund in regard to vaccine costs. You want to talk about that for us? Oh, wait, excuse me. Go ahead, Commissioner Romano, please.
Need a motion to recommend to full board? I'll make that motion.
Support Nard.
Commissioner Romano made the motion of support, and support was, he's saying it was Commissioner Nart. There we go.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners. Before you is a budget amendment that we're asking for in the Health Department to move money internally, mostly from personnel services, for this calendar year in the amount of $700,000 to cover vaccine costs. This is just only specifically vaccine costs. The big reason and rationale behind this is that it was unforeseen costs of both the COVID and RSV vaccine that we had to purchase. Fortunately, that is captured in the next budget cycle, so we don't anticipate coming back next year in the new year for additional budget amendments to move money. But this is basically to cover the vaccine that we need to cover this year for individuals coming for brand new vaccine of COVID, and then the RSV vaccine's brand new this year as well as a different presentation of a pneumococcal vaccine that our clients are coming to seek. I know there was some questions in the past about wastage and expiration dates. The RSV vaccine has an over a year shelf life for that vaccine. COVID vaccine is less. It's typically around 6 months of vaccine. I've been asked, I think, by this board about wastage rates. I can tell you for all vaccines in the health department, it's 2%, but specifically for COVID vaccines, that's 1%. So our staff do a tremendous job of only ordering what they need to based off demand and not wasting much. Those are some of the best rates you'll see in the county, let alone the state of Michigan, for wastage rates for vaccines. So our staff do a tremendous job there. Be happy to answer any questions you might have on this topic.
I think everybody's good. Thank you very much, and I will take a vote, please.
If you want a voice vote, I can add it.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 11 to 0.
Very
Thank
good.
you, Commissioners.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I was going over now to Commissioner Hall to Government Oversight.
Thank you, Chair. I'll call the Government Oversight Committee of December 7th to order. First item on the agenda, item 8A, Art Institute Authority Board Appointments, 2-year terms running January 1, 2024 through December 31, 2025. We have 2 names. There are 2 vacancies. So I need a motion to refer to full board.
So moved by Nard.
Support, Perna.
I have a motion by Commissioner Nard, supported by Commissioner Perna. I see no discussion on the motion. Please vote. Oh. I should have asked, I know Mike MacDonald's not here. Is Maria here?
Neither one could be here today.
Okay, thank you, Chair. We voted?
Yes.
Motion passes 11 to 0.
Thank you. Next item is Civil Service Commission, executive reappointment with board concurrence, 1 vacancy, 5-year term to expire on December 31st, 2029. Michael Shorkey attending. I need a motion to refer to full board.
So moved by Nard.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Nard, supported by Commissioner Van Sickle. Michael, please.
Commissioners, I was appointed just a couple months ago, and just coming here for hopefully reappointment for the full term. I took the partial term for John Glass, who left. So thank you for your consideration, and I'd like to do it another 5 years. I'd like to give back to the sheriff's office in the county like I did my 25 years as a lieutenant there. So
Thank you. Commissioner Brown.
So how are you finding things the first couple of months?
it's even though I just retired in March, it's nice to go back to something where I spent so much time at. 25 years at the sheriff's office. I was involved with a lot of the hiring and discipline, internal affairs, detective bureau, and to get back in and help make some decisions on hiring, especially when it comes to the online dispatch testing that we have now, and some of our candidates for the police academy that we have coming in. I did run into that as a shift commander, that we were really low on staff when I was there. Sometimes we had no extra people at all. So I know how important it is to fill the positions. Of course, the sheriff's office, where I'm not there anymore, but when I was there, it's a 24/7 operation, as we all know, and it's very important to have the right staff and not have these young men and women be ordered over on some really many 16-hour days in a schedule. So to have the right amount of people there, I think is very important. And I think my recent knowledge of how everything works comes in handy with everyone else in the commission. So
That's one of the reasons we appointed you, because you got experience. Is there any process issues that you see that you think could help expedite the process along? I mean, because you're on the receiving end going, God, it's taking forever for them civil service to get through the civil service process.
Right.
Now that you're in there, maybe you got a different point of view, or are there areas that then maybe it's too soon to say. I don't
Well,
know.
I think actually since the time I have actually left, and by the time I started the Civil Service Commission, that short amount of time, they have enacted some new things. The way they're doing the dispatch testing with the computers, at home, and also to have the candidates for the deputies where they can, I forgot what the actual term is for it, but they're hiring people into the academy right away, and then they're going to train them after. It's been streamlined since I was doing background investigations and doing interviews at the sheriff's office, because I was one of the many lieutenants that sat down in the panels for the actual interviews. And it is moving faster. There's a couple people from the community that have reached out to me that are in the process, and they're happy with the process also. Just like all of us, I know a lot of people, and they want to get into the sheriff's office. And I think they're doing a really good job, especially on the corrections end. When I was in there was a shortage of corrections officers. Right now, they're keeping the pool for corrections really where it should be. And dispatch, they're trying to do what they can, but we all know how long the training process is. With them, it's much longer. I think the deputies are the things that we're trying to get. They've streamlined that quite a bit with the hiring process. It's just that there's a lot of other choices, and we have lost through attrition, and many of our good folks have jumped to other agencies. But I think because of the pay raises that the county has approved and some of the better benefits, I think some folks are staying and they're not jumping ship as much as they were in the past.
Great, well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for indulging me in my questions. I was curious now that he's been in there a few months, we're to have an opportunity with somebody like that who just stepped into the role to be here for reappointment. And so glad to hear it. And anything good or bad going on, let us know, please.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion, support, please vote.
Motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Next item is Friend of the Court Citizen Advisory Committee, executive appointment with board concurrence, one vacancy, 3-year term to expire on December 31st, 2026. Perry Joseph Simmons Jr. is seeking reappointment. I need a motion to full board.
So moved by Nard. Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Nard, supported by Commissioner Van Sickle. Perry?
It was Grote,
That was,
Commissioner Grote.
Oh, you guys sound alike over there.
thank you.
They don't look the same, though.
Looking.
I didn't say that.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, Perry, go right ahead.
So I'm just here for reappointment. I've sat on the committee before. My term expired. I was reappointed last year for a 1-year term to fill a vacancy, and now I'm back for another 3 years to sit on this board. It does a lot of good things for the front of the court, for like their customer service side and how they deal with people, which is a huge thing for the front of the court. So we have nothing to do with legal decisions, just how people are treated and make sure everyone's treated fairly. So it's been a great experience, and I've been in customer service for 23 years, so I feel I bring a lot of knowledge to the committee.
As the chairman did with Michael, could you explain your role there?
Yes, so we review grievances that are submitted to the front of the court from citizens that either feel they've been biased decisions, like treated biasly or not treated fairly. So they would submit a grievance to the front of the court. That then is sent to us as a committee to review Tom's response to the grievance, to decide if we agree or disagree with Tom's response to that grievance. It's not a grievance on the decision made by the courts. That's a different process through the legal. This is someone didn't talk nice to me, or I feel like this person was mean to me, those types of grievances. So we reviewed those. Tom has also come to us, asked for advice and opinions on customer service training and what our thoughts are on that. Sharing information about staffing as well, to kind of give some backstory on maybe some of the grievances we're getting and why we're getting them. So it's been a helpful committee, I feel. So
Thank you. And this is, how many members are on the committee?
there are 9 of us, I believe. There are 4 that are like myself from the public. There's a custodial parent, a non-custodial parent, 2 from the general public. I know we have an attorney. We have someone from the district's attorney's office, our prosecuting attorney's office, Health and Human Services, and I think that's about, and the sheriff's office has a representative as well.
Thank you. Commissioner Zinner.
Thank you, Chair. So, Mr. Simmons, so what comes to you then has some degree of seriousness,
At times, yes,
yes?
yes.
So, how many complaints would you say you've had this year,
For the year,
roughly? It's off the
Sure.
cuff, I understand.
maybe 25, 30. However, we get complaints from the same individuals, sometimes repetitively. They're very familiar with the front of the court and they complain every time they deal with the front of the court. Some from different individuals, we might have had 20 for the year that were not from one individual specifically, so.
What percentage of those 20 then would you say the board was able to assist them or whatever you do?
I would say generally we do agree with Tom's response because a lot of times the grievance is more based on a decision and they're looking for us to help them with that, which we cannot do. But we have, while we may agree with Tom, we may come back and say, you know, well, have we considered doing this and making this change in the process to help others that are dealing with this? Maybe it took 6 months for them to get a hearing. So have we considered doing this to help implement that process so they're not waiting so long to get that decision made that they're not going to like after that time frame? So, but majority of the time we do agree with the actual grievance response, but we do come up with suggestions to the front of the court of ways that they can make changes that might help in the future going forward.
Thank you very much for explaining that. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Van Sickle.
Thank you. The prosecutor's office has started a program more aggressively to go after, I guess, non-custodial parents who owe back child support. Have any of those people come and complained to you?
No, not that I'm aware of.
That's a good thing.
Yes,
They should
it
be
is.
ashamed.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Chair Brown.
How many process changes did you suggest have been implemented?
Over the years, since I've started the committee, at least a handful. A big one when we first started the committee, probably 7 or 8 years ago, was actual customer service training that they had employees go through, which they've never had in the past. They never went through actual customer service training. That was, to me, my most successful thing that we've come through for the front of the court. But there's been, we only meet 6 times a year. We're not a constantly meeting board, but we meet 6 times a year. I'd say we come up with 2 or 3 a year that we give recommendations for.
So you have about 6 cases when you meet then probably?
Correct, yep. Yes, about 3, 4, 5, depending on how many. And we do a random selection. We don't review every single grievance, depending on how many were submitted, unless it is a bias grievance based on.
Is there anybody tracking the category in which those grievances fall in to see if there's a
Yes.
cluster?
Yes,
You do keep records like
there are
that?
kept, yes. And I believe they submit a annual report to the board every year of
Could you do me a favor,
grievances.
could you send us a copy of the last annual report?
Yes.
Just so we
yes.
could take a look at that and just get familiar with it?
Yes, I'll have Beth send that over for you.
I appreciate what you do, because your complaints are us board,
Yes.
but don't take it personally.
No problem.
Great, thank you, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for your willingness to serve. We need
problem.
people like you to do that, because without good people stepping up, bad things happen. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chair.
Thank you. Seeing no further speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is data sharing agreement, Michigan Department of State, direct access and subscription service, no cost to the county. Motion to refer to full board.
So moved by Nard.
I have a motion by Commissioner Nard, supported by Commissioner Sabatini. All yours, sir.
Yes, Brian Jacks, Human Resources, and I bring here a intergovernmental data sharing agreement with the Department of State. This is a renewal of the current agreement that we have, and it's direct access to the employee driving records, and there's no cost to the county for this agreement. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Well, you must have had a great presentation. I see no speakers, so
Thank you very
please
much.
vote.
Be breezy. We like the cost.
Commissioner Sabatini, did your vote come through? Thank you. Motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Next item is correspondence. We have items A and B, Older Adult Advisory Committee, OAAC 2022 to 2023 end of term report, and Older Adult Advisory Committee Effectiveness Survey to Improve Quality and Process 2022 through 2023 end of term. Motion to receive and file.
So moved by Nard.
Support Center.
I have a motion by Commissioner Nard, supported by Commissioner Zinner. Please vote.
We're gonna have a report.
Oh, we are having a report.
Yes.
Who's
Yes.
reporting?
Adriana.
Okay, Adriana. Hold that vote.
But I got a lot of questions on this.
So for items 10A and 10B, these are items that were submitted to you from your Older Adult Advisory Committee at their last meeting at the end of November that we had in Macomb Township. So 10A is the 2022-2023 term review. This end of term report details the highlights and presentations of the 2022-2023 term. For 10B, we implemented a survey for our Older Adult Advisory Committee members, and we wanted to share all of those results with you. This is the end of their current term. The survey gave members the opportunity to anonymously reflect on their experience on the committee. The goal here was to assess operational aspects and identify opportunities for improvement to the committee's format and their direction. Participation was voluntary and kept anonymous as best as we could, and responses were received from 10 out of the 17 members. So I'll just go through each of the questions briefly, just so you can see the results. We got some really positive results and feedback from this that I think will be really helpful going forward. The first question, the survey opened asking how many terms the members served. For this question, for the presentation, we pulled the actual data on this so that we can look at a complete count rather than just the 10 who submitted. So it was kind of interesting. About half of the committee, this was their first term, 8 members on their first term, and then 9 of the members have been on it since inception in 2018, so over 4 terms. The next 2 questions, questions 2 and 3, looked at the focus of the committee and the responsibilities as a committee member. Overall, the response to this was really positive. Members felt that their responsibilities are clear, the focus clearly defined. During the presentation at their meeting end of November, we also redistributed information to each member from that resolution when the committee was formed in 2018. The resolution details the function and procedures followed. So we gave that out so we could, make sure anybody who wasn't feeling quite confident had a little bit more information to go off of. The next 3 questions, 4, 5, and 6, looked at the format of the meetings. So the frequency and duration of the meetings, as well as when the meetings are held. For the first 5 years of the committee, oops, I lost my slide, 1 second. For the first 5 years of the committee, meetings were typically held here in the boardroom the 4th Tuesday of every month at 3 o'clock. It just worked easiest at the time, so we stuck with that. This year, starting in the spring, we changed the format a bit, and we took each meeting out into a different senior center throughout Macomb County. So it was quite a change. The results of the survey showed positive feedback on both the frequency and the duration of the meetings, with a preference for members meeting at a consistent day and time each month. Question 7, this question was intended to gauge how useful members have found it to be going out to these senior centers instead of only meeting here in the boardroom. We received a lot of positive feedback on this from members of the committee at the meetings, from staff and leadership at the local municipalities that we visited, as well as members of the public who were in attendance, and from the survey as well. Overall, most members would like to see a mixture of meetings here in the boardroom and going out into the community. They feel like that would be easiest for everyone to get to and still beneficial getting out into the community and learning what's offered out there. So we did notice a significant increase in public participation, which was really great. Here in the boardroom, we didn't really get a lot of public. And we've noticed every meeting that we've taken out into the community had at least a handful, sometimes a couple handfuls of people who were able to participate. They attended and they spoke at public, which was really great. It also gives committee members a firsthand look at what's offered in their communities. Most of the municipalities we visited, the senior center coordinator was able to speak and give out material as to what's offered. So that was really helpful for the members too. Questions 8 and 9 relate to time. We wanted to make sure each member feels like they have adequate time to speak themselves. Each presenter has enough time to speak and the public has enough time to speak as well. So that also got a pretty positive feedback, I think. Let's see. Question 10 was really helpful for us as staff. We want to make sure everybody feels they're receiving their material in sufficient time so they can review and be prepared for their meeting. We follow our rules and procedures that we follow for your meetings here. So agendas are published a week prior to the meeting. Packets are sent to all of the committee members after they've been approved by the committee chair, Chair Zinner. We email them and we mail hard copies. We've done that since the beginning. It's again, just really worked best for them. Question 11, we wanted to get a better idea here of where members are receiving their information for their function on the committee. So regarding challenges, concerns, opportunities affecting older adults within the county. So we got a lot of information from this. Most members get a lot of it from our presentations. We had between 2022 and 2023, they had 34 total presentations, which was great. But they're also receiving it through other meetings and conferences they attend, when they're out in the community, through research, and then connecting with the local municipalities. Let's see. Did I skip one? Nope, okay. So 13 through 15. These questions looked at member satisfaction with the committee and the opportunity to comment on areas of improvement, ideas for projects, initiatives, different presentations. We included on each of these slides for the presentation that they received last month all the feedback that we received so they can review everything. Members gave great feedback in support of continuing to get out to the local senior centers to better learn about what's available and what's needed, and to be able to involve you as commissioners more in this, whether that's through individual meetings where you meet them at the senior center, or we continue to do the monthly meetings held at the senior center. The committee is also hoping to get seniors more involved and aware. I think we're really making progress at that with the increase in public attendance that we've been seeing. Committee members have had some really good ideas that they're going to talk about again at their next meeting. There's an idea for a survey to gather data from the older adult population within the county. So this is something they'll look at for next year, hopefully. The committee meets again. Oops, I ended it. 1 second. There we go. The committee meets again January 30th. It'll be here in the boardroom. It's a Tuesday at 3 o'clock. So they'll have a more in-depth conversation again about these survey results, so we can plan for the new term ahead. The survey proved to be a really valuable tool for us to get a better sense of how the committee's feeling about their service and what things we continue to improve upon. So if anyone has any questions, happy to take them.
Well, first of all, I've got to commend you on what an excellent report that was.
Oh, thank you.
And even the one that said in the survey they weren't satisfied, I was trying to read the comments real quickly.
Oh, yes.
It looked like the one comment was, we're getting more informational stuff than we are providing advice. I mean, that's not a bad, if you're going to get a negative comment, that's not a bad one. So I commend you on the entire report, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Seeing no speakers, please vote.
Whoops.
What? I got the detail thing on.
Are we on A, 10A?
I'm on 10A. Hang on.
Oh, hold on.
Holy cow.
Hi, Eric.
I was on 10B. Commissioner Zinner.
Oh, somebody was just removed. I- It was a lot of fun going around. We'll see how many times we do that this year. I have no idea. It was kind of exciting and all that. We never knew what the room was going to be like. Crystal and Adriana, it was a lot of time because you're going to have to go take brochures there and set things up and get things all squared away. It was great when the commissioners could be there for their areas. And when they say the speakers, all of our speakers are dynamic. They hit on all different kinds of points. We've got some really great speakers lined up, coming up for next year. And I still wish and hope we could find a way to get what those speakers are saying out to our citizens, because they are so full of information in all kinds of areas. And the people are great. Our OA's people, they're just wonderful people. And we have cookies after. So it's great. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Van Sickle.
Thank you. Along the lines of your comment originally, since the purpose of the board is to bring recommendations back to the board, I was looking for the recommendations in the yearly report, and I couldn't find any. So if the purpose of the board is to bring recommendations to us, and there was no recommendations brought to us, I question why the people think it's effective.
Adriana, you want to talk to that?
We did submit, each year we submit either an end of year or an end of term report. This year we also submitted, there was budget recommendations. They received a presentation from Kyle before the budget was adopted. So they did submit to you their, what they saw from presentations, what they were hoping to see, maybe you could consider when adopting the budget. So there was that. 2022, they had a community emergency preparedness discussion that was submitted to the board. And then,
If I'm looking for 2023.
well, this was for the whole term. 2023, we had the 2022 and 23, the Older Michiganian Day platform that they supported, that was sent to the board, and then the budget recommendation sheet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe that should have been included in the term report.
Yeah, I can add that in next time, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Adriana. Commissioner Romano.
Thank you, Chair. I think it's time for renewal for the members. In my particular case, this particular member said, Joe, I really don't have a lot to contribute. And he said, I'm not going to re-sign up for the committee. But a suggestion he had, and makes a lot of sense, he said, why don't you go to, and I'm going to be at the senior center tomorrow. He said, why don't you go to your senior center, find somebody that's actively involved in the senior center, and maybe you can talk them into, or ask them if they would like to join the board. And I thought that was a good idea for anybody here who has recommendations or people that don't want to get a reappointment to the board, that maybe they could go to their senior centers and find out who is active, and maybe they can get somebody who could participate. That's all I have. Thank you.
Great idea. Thank you. Commissioner Nard.
I just wanted to know, how often do you make it to the south end of, like Warren? Because there's some senior centers there. I'd like to know when you're going to be there.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely let you know. Warren was on our list that we would consider for next year if we're going to continue going out. We only started, our first one was in June, so we only had so many months to work with. So what we did was we had some specific recommendations from either committee members or you as commissioners with contacts to senior centers they wanted to see us at. So we went to those first. And then anything who we didn't have time for, I do have a running list. So I do have Warren on there, but if there's any specific ones, let me know and I can make sure they're on.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about Stillwell Manor when he was saying that somebody else, you might need somebody else on the board. You might be able to find somebody from Stillwell Manor. I usually go into their little prayer sessions that they have on Tuesdays. So you can find a board member from there.
Okay.
Well, just let me know when you're going to be around there. So
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Chair, can I add something?
Yes, please.
The people, I did speak with the gentleman in Sterling Heights. It's great to do that. That's a great suggestion Commissioner Romano has. They also have to live within the parameter of the person living. They have to be in the same parameter, physical parameter.
In my district.
Commission district.
So it's fine, because we're going, I don't know if you had time yet to check on the one lady that maybe up, you were going to check on
For your,
Moira,
for your district? Oh,
at the district
she
where?
did submit an
It's in-
application.
Oh, okay, so she lives there?
She did submit, yeah, she did submit an application.
All right, so we already have an application. Maybe people might want to do it more, but yes, pretty much everybody else is staying. And I just wanted to point that out for, anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, Barb. Chair Brown.
Yeah, thank you. To go with Commissioner Romano said, I mean, you know, finding somebody active in your senior centers, people maybe are tired, you might want to ask the people who are your representatives. Some of you are new and may not even appointed the person that's in your district, representing your district. I found a real pistol in my district, in my new district, who's really a go-getter, and he's really taken to it quite well, and he's going to be a lot for Barb to work with.
Thank you.
But
Paybacks?
but this committee is our committee. It's our, well, the reason we appoint these people is to work with our local seniors, primarily in our senior centers where our seniors tend to congregate, to give us feedback, you individually as commissioners in your adult communities, to feed it back to us here at the board, hear from them in their senior centers or in your districts, take it back to the senior committee, Barb digests it, and then spits it back out to us in a report. And there's been some reporting back to us. I think there's always room for improvement, and that's what the group, I think, is doing right now. They're having a discussion about how things they're working at to, see the new direction. I am so impressed by our staff by helping and facilitating these meetings, getting them out in the districts. Those who've had, lucky to have the meetings in their district already, I think would know that it's been a huge success. And so if you have an opportunity to schedule one in your district, please take advantage of it, because it's a great opportunity to not only interact with your senior community, but, then also to brag about things that you're doing here in the county as well. So very good job, but congratulations again, Adriana, and the whole team for doing a great job with that. I mean, it's really, it takes a lot of time. It's not something easy. It's not just showing up at a meeting and letting it rip. It takes a lot of planning. And the coordination of the times, having the same time is important to people, because they got schedules too. They're not all sitting around with nothing to do because they're retired. They got full schedules too, and having it on a set time and a set day is a good thing. That's what, they're torn between having it here and going around the road, because when we take it on the road, their schedules, these centers' schedules, don't always match with what times we'd like to have it. And their times aren't necessarily when all the seniors are there. So it's a scheduling issue that Adriana has really been dealing with and doing a good job of it, but it presents challenges too. So but it's good, and I'm glad to see it continue. And any suggestions for operations are always welcome. So thanks a lot. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, for doing a good job leading that and continuing to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Seeing no further speakers on either A or B, please vote.
Yes.
Motion passes 11-0.
Next is public participation. Once, twice, 3 times gone. Next is commissioners' comments. Let me look. Commissioner Romano.
Just a quick statement here. I had a meeting today with a couple of police officers, three of them. 2 were in uniform, showed up a little bit later. The first one showed up, who's a captain, in just his civilian clothes with a T-shirt that said police officer. And he tried to get through the blue coats down at the main lobby, and they wouldn't let him in until he showed identification. Other than he said, I have my T-shirt on. It says police officer. He said, well, what else do you need? They said, well, you're carrying a gun. You better show me something else so you can't go in. So I just want to give a shout out to our blue coats that they're looking out for us. This guy could have said who he was, but he had to prove it by literally pulling out his license, pulling out his badge, and showing exactly who he was. So kudos for the blue coats. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. That's why every budget I ask Wickersham who they report to and what is he doing to support them. Because I do know quite a few of those guys, as you know.
Yes.
Commissioner Perna.
Just a point of information on December the 23rd, for those that are interested, there is going to be an event at the Mirage Hall on 18 Mile and Garfield, and I am putting on an annual Christmas party for developmentally and disabled persons. This is my 33rd year I'm doing this. We will have about close to 500 guests. And we're looking for some volunteers in the morning that will assemble the gifts that we give out to all of our participants. It's a stuffed stocking with all kind of hygiene products and fruit and cookies and so on. And then Santa Claus comes around 11 o'clock and then works the room with all the kids for pictures and dancing. We have a DJ there, and by noon, you're on your way home. And I will be playing Santa Claus myself on that day. So you're all welcome if you want to volunteer in the morning. We're starting at 8 o'clock for volunteers. We use the MORC, Macomb Oakland Regional Center. We use all the resident group homes, which average 3 to 4 to 5 guests at each house. And they'll be arriving around 9:30, and the event is over before noon. So you're all welcome if you want to come and volunteer for an hour, a couple of hours on the 23rd at the Mirage. Thank you.
So the rumor that your Santa Claus is true?
That is true.
Thank you. Chair Brown.
Thank you. Wanted to give commissioners an update. There's been the discussion regarding the land bank. We're having a discussion with our attorneys who looked at the agreement that they've submitted, and we've sent it back to them. So we're in discussion with them, trying to see if we can come upon some agreed language for that. And it's an ongoing discussion, and we may have something by next week, we may not. But we determined, though, that we did find some information out when we called the state land bank director, and that there's no deadline of hard and fast by the 31st of this year to create a land bank, and we'll be out something. We want to get that land bank established, if that's what the board wants to do earlier, so that we'll be in line for appropriations when the legislature comes back in session. Legislature is out till February 21st, I think. So we should probably move on it. We also learned, we talked to the state director also, that they've talked to one community, St. Clair Shores, about putting together a land bank, and it was reported back that they're going to wait until the county does something rather than create it on their own. So, there was a lot of discussion about that before, but there's been a lot of work done since then, trying to understand what it is and our legal obligations and responsibilities. So that'll be coming maybe next week if we get it ready for us to go. If not, we'll pick it up in the next session next year. So just wanted to pass that along. You talk to me afterwards, you got more questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Romano?
Second time around, huh? First time
Yes.
for me, since I've been on the commission.
It's okay. You can
Okay.
speak.
In regards to what Chair Brown just said, I met, in fact, Commissioner Zinner and I met with the treasurer and Mr. Macaron and, what was her name? Paige, the other attorney that made the presentation. And again, there's always two sides to every story. I'm more inclined to go with our chair, but I think it'd be worth the effort if people would like to sit down and talk to them and hear their side. But as I said, I'm more inclined to go with what our chair has suggested. That's all I have. Thank you.
I mean, it's really not about a side, it's just about interpretation, setting up the agreement. It's pretty much, I think we agree, there's pretty much agreement, the value that could come of as a result of that, but, which isn't 100% uniform, but it's not exactly contentious, it's just about technicalities in the agreement if we sign one, what it says. So we're going to work on it, so.
Thank you. Commissioner Zinner?
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Well, from what Skip was saying and what you're saying, the major difference is that it needs to be done before December 31st, and there are monies that could be held for us, and that is major if we decide to do this. So.
Time sensitive.
Time sensitive. Now, we both heard that. So I don't know what to think about that. I don't know who you talk to. I hate to think that they're telling us something that
Well, they're not
is
lying.
factual.
That- I
And
don't
there are
want to get
five,
into
and
a discussion of this now,
there
but
are 5 municipalities that are doing this also. That's just something to think about for the area.
Can we wait till more information?
Based on the discussion, could you contact and find out if it's time sensitive or not? I
I
think that's
have.
the big issue.
Well,
Okay,
I've
and
done
just relay that to the,
have, yeah, okay.
okay, thank you. That was the longest commissioners' comments we've had in any committee this year, so thank you very much. Next item is
Veronica would be
Motion to
proud.
adjourn.
Support.
motion to adjourn. We have a motion and support. Please vote.